Joining us from Oslo, Norway, we have with us Dr. Glenn Diesen, Professor of International Relations at the University of Southeastern Norway and an editor at the Russia and Global Affairs Journal. Thank you so much for joining us on WION. Why is the Biden administration refusing to confirm that it has allowed Ukraine to fire U.S.-supplied long-range missiles to strike Russian territory?
Well, I think they're probably refusing it because this is a tremendous escalation, and might be perhaps be giving themselves a way to walk this back by leaving some strategic ambiguity. Again, so far they're making these claims that this is not escalatory. However, that doesn't explain why they refrained from doing this for 3 years. And I think the reason is very clearly that this is a direct attack on Russia, which means the U.S. is now a direct participant, and it's the Americans which have effectively attacked the Russians. And I think this is evidence because it's not just American missiles, but they're also relying on U.S. intelligence and targeting. And they're actually operated by American soldiers as well, as the Ukrainians cannot do this, as well as being guided by American missiles. So given this huge escalation on the American part, I think the way they usually intensify or escalate the war in Ukraine is by using incrementalism. They slowly introduce something, see how the Russians react. Sometimes they put some limitations on how weapons are used, and then they gradually remove these restraints, simply because this is a good way of escalating a war without getting too much negative pushback. Again, this is what they've done throughout the entire war, and it's again worth going back and remember that the Americans were first apprehensive about sending artillery. Abrams, the F-16, according to Biden, could trigger World War III. But now the Americans are engaged in direct attacks on Russia. So it makes a lot of sense for them to have some ambiguity in terms of to what extent they've actually begun attacking Russia.
And time and again, Moscow has been warning against such deep strikes. And now it has revised its nuclear doctrine. How do you think Russia will respond? I mean, considering the fact that Biden's a lame duck president, he's not going to be in office for long, but still.
Yeah, well, they have a dilemma. Do they wait for Trump to come? But, they can't simply allow themselves to be attacked by the United States for 2 months until Trump arrives, hoping that he will change things. If anything, if Russia signals that they're prepared to be attacked by America and not responding, that could embolden Trump as well. There's no guarantee that he's going to be able to deliver peace, irrespective of what he has ambitions for. Now, it's correct that Putin, as America attacked Russia, Putin approved a change to the nuclear doctrine, which then legalizes the lowering of the threshold for using the nuclear weapons. So now this is a real possibility. However, I don't think that the nuclear button is the first answer for Russia, but I think it's instead something they have prepared, because now they're getting ready to move up the escalation ladder. And then when you move up the escalation ladder, there can be a lot of unpredictable escalations. And at this point, it's good to have the opportunity to use the nuclear weapons, or at least signal it to your opponent that this is something you're ready to do. Now, I wouldn't expect them to do this first. I think they would, they can destroy a lot of NATO reconnaissance drones over the Black Sea. They can also use conventional weapons to attack NATO's military targets, especially logistics centers, be it in Poland or Romania. I think they can destroy NATO satellites, which are being used to guide the missiles, which are being attacking Russian territory. They can go after critical infrastructure of NATO, everything from cyber to underwater cables. They can also destroy Ukrainian warplanes, which have been stationed in Romania and Poland, and also American military bases around the world. The Americans are very thinly and stretched around the world. There's a lot of targets to attack, either through proxies or direct attacks. So I would assume over the next weeks now, you will see, for example, the Yemen and others suddenly become much more efficient and accurate in their targeting. So I think there's a lot of possible targets for the Russians, and they will probably seek to punish NATO, that is to restore their deterrent without triggering World War III. But again, if the conflict spirals out of control, then they have a new nuclear doctrine.
All right. right, great. Thank you so much for those comments, your analysis, and giving us some insight about what may be next. Dr. Deason, I look forward to speaking to you again very soon. For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.